imagine standing at the heart of an ancient site like Stonehenge. The warm, early morning sun on your skin, the sound of the breeze whispering to you through the ancient stones. Nothing between you and the earth but a thin layer of paint as you camouflage into the ancient stones behind you. In that moment, you realize you're not just present, you're a living, breathing piece of history. In the modern age, disappearing has become an art form. But it's not just an optical illusion. It really is about becoming one with the space around us and telling the stories of those environments, like this model blending into the beautiful background of Florence. My name is Trina Merry, and I paint on people, and I blend them into iconic locations around the world. Now, I didn't start out this way, okay? You know, when I grew up, all these little girls said, I want to be a teacher, I want to be a doctor, I want to be an astronaut, I want to be a president. I wanted to be a secret agent. But I didn't know that becoming invisible would mean I have to paint naked people for a living. That wasn't on the agenda. So how did I get started with this crazy thing, right? I was an artist, obviously, and I started blending people into the colorful murals in Clarion Alley in San Francisco. And this actually is my youngest model. This is my nephew, who was only a few weeks old. Eventually, this led me to New York City. And I was just so excited to go and play with all of the camouflage in the beautiful graffiti of New York City. I mean, how epic, right? But I got there and I was totally blown away by the dynamic architecture. Wow. Coming from the West Coast, I was like, wow. And I just really wanted to camouflage people with their fleshy curves into these hard phallic lines. I loved that contrast. I became obsessed with it. But there's a lot of challenges body painting people into these urban landscapes. There's noise, there's chaos, there's constant movement, there's pedestrians crossing, there's traffic, there's the NYPD. And a little bit about my process, okay? If you can imagine all that chaos. I'm standing here. The model is maybe standing at the edge of that circle. And I hyper-focus on the lines behind them. And I run back and forth with a paintbrush in a dance as I mark the lines of their body with the flashing neon billboards. And the model's job is to stand completely patient and just receive. Just be in focus, be present, and become a part of this illusion. Now, sometimes I allow chance to enter into my artwork, and these were experiments for me. So in this one, as if Times Square was not already crazy enough, I thought it would be fun to challenge myself to body paint into a moving taxi cab. No big deal. And so all these cabs are going by, and I'm painting the lines just hoping that when I take the photo, one of them lines up. And in this one over here, this was done at Union Station in New York City. If you've ever tried to catch a subway, people are not getting out of the way for you when that subway comes. But I think, for me, the miracle of this piece is people actually got out of the way and were in awe of what we were doing and let us take the photograph. But I took this photo maybe 3 trains going by, and I could only get 3 photographs as the train was coming. And I got so lucky in this moment of chance where the lines of the model actually lined up with the subway. Obsession. I get to connect with cities in a way that most people overlook. In our digital age, everything is documented and shared. So trying to work with this process of the unseen is revolutionary. There's this magic that happens when we let go of trying to stand out and instead allow ourselves to blend in. My work in urban sites led me to some amazing sacred places around the world. I've just been so lucky and so grateful for all of the experiences I've had, the amazing people that I've gotten to work with. This is Petra in Jordan, and I thought it would be just such a kick to go to the 7 wonders of the world and see what happens. And I found some really cool things that I didn't expect. This is Giza, okay? Obviously, the pyramids are an ancient wonder of the world, mysterious, the scientific wonder. I was so excited, but I was equally blown away by contemporary Giza, which is full of literal pyramid rubble and trash and unfinished rooftops. I don't feel strongly one way over the other of which one is more spectacular from an artist's standpoint. And my model here is standing in perfect balance between the two worlds, the ancient and the contemporary. At Machu Picchu, the energy was palpable with the mountain. It really predates all of the ruins. And for me, I wanted to capture this mountaintop experience. That was the energy that really mattered to me. At Stone, that's me with brown hair. When I wasn't an anime character. For me, Stonehenge was such an amazing experience because I was only one of 7 artists that were selected that year to make art at Stonehenge. And that freedom to work with the stone in the early morning was just so amazing. And I felt connected to something so old and so legends. And I felt connected to the cosmos in a way that's truly beyond my understanding. This is a piece I did a month ago at Kirkafell in Iceland. And when I got out of the camper van, a few friends and I did a camper van adventure all around Iceland. And when we got out of the camper van, man, the energy vortex of this place is strong. The mountain feels alive. It feels like a sleeping giant that's ready to awake. This is Easter Island. You may know it. I was so excited to go and work with the ancient ancestors and with the Moai, but what was even cooler and so unexpected was that I got to work with their living descendants. And they so graciously taught me how to make body paint out of the earth itself. So in this image, I've got my model that's blending into the ancient ancestors and the Moai, but one of the living descendants is body painted from the earth. It's powerful. What I've learned through these experiences at sacred sites is that people show up and they take. Take a souvenir, take a picture, take a story that maybe they'll go back and take home. We don't do that. We show up and we're there for hours. We notice every single detail. The subtle changes to the light, every cloud passing over the model, the little changes in the temperature, the crispness in the air, the smells of the earth, the smells of the models. And in those moments, we get to give a little bit of energy back to the space. Those places are not content for Instagram, okay? They're not backgrounds for your life. These places are living entities that, if you're willing to listen, will teach you some really important lessons. In this process of observing every single detail, I get hyper-focused in my process. I can feel every little brushstroke on the model's skin. And I notice every freckle, every goosebump. I see every scar, every piece of cellulite, things that maybe people would think are flaws, but I think are the most beautiful things in the world and really make the piece amazing. And there's this science, this interconnectedness that comes out. And the model and I, our heartbeats align, our breaths sync up, and we are so acutely aware of our surroundings. So what have I learned from these performances, like this piece in Central Park? One, the importance of presence. Two, the discipline that it takes to be still. And three, the beauty of seeing the world around us. Now, specifically, the lessons from the cities are that of stillness versus noise. Okay, so this is a piece in front of the White House. Has anybody been to the White House before? Chaos, right? Protests, horns blowing, whatever you can imagine, it's crazy out there. And these guys are just chilling in this almost Eden-esque pose in front of the White House lawn. And there's this energy that they're tapping into that's beneath the surface, as if it's roots that they're growing from. And it's beautiful if you're willing to sit and listen and find that stillness. At the sacred sites like Chichen Itza, that energy is already there if you're willing to listen. So stop and listen. In the act of disappearing, it requires you to slow down, be present, and engage intentionally. But what happens if we're not paying attention? Well, I got struck by lightning. Yes, really. Everything went white. There was this loud buzzing sound, and I had the most intense aching sensation in my bones. And it was in that moment that I realized we are nature. And there are universal forces that are shaping us, whether we want them to or not. So pay attention. It can be hard to wake up, though. We were talking about that a little bit. Our modern struggle is that when we talk about disappearing, we often mean that in relation to disconnection, right? Doom scrolling. Everybody go to dinner and start scrolling on the internet. People aren't paying attention to each other anymore. People get caught up in fear, in this news cycle, this chaos, right? This over-information. And we lose touch with the world around us. There's loneliness that we start to experience in these public settings. Raise your hand if you've ever been ghosted. Dude, I'm so sorry. For those of you who don't know, ghosting is the cutting off of communication completely with another human being. It can leave you really confused. It can leave you with unresolved emotions. And these behaviors erode our connections with ourselves, with our environment, and with each other. They suck. And in this fog of distraction, we miss out on the present moment. We miss out on the beauty of our surroundings. And we mostly miss out on the opportunities to give and receive love. It's heartbreaking. The irony of our time is that we live in a time where we have all these tools of connection on a global scale, more than ever before. But we've never been more disconnected from each other as a human species. Nope. So what I've started to do is I've started to bring these amazing lessons that I've been learning with these amazing people to museums and institutions like the Getty Villa, where we got to blend models into the Greco-Roman architecture. I've also done pieces at the Brooklyn Museum of Art and the Whitney. And the goal with these types of pieces is to invite others into that same connection and engage with the space in a new way. Maybe there's some pieces of art that are being neglected in the collection, or that people aren't really paying attention to, or might be out of fashion. But you can reimagine them with performance art in a beautiful way and bring new life to them. This is a piece that we just did at HARPA, again, about a month ago in Iceland, where I was working with the psychology of color and blending people into the geometry, amazing glass structure. And these large-scale performances and installations, they're really experiential art within a controlled environment that we share with a wider audience intimately. Okay. So my challenge for you is to embrace the art of disappearing in your own life. Connect with your surroundings and be fully present. And you can do this in a city, you can do this in sacred sites, or you can do it in nature, like the beautiful mangroves here in Belize. What if you allowed yourself to disappear? What if you disappeared? What if you let go of being seen? And you just paid attention to the sacred and the awe-inspiring in your everyday life. Go and sit under the blossoming cherry blossom trees. Go hang out with that fall foliage that's coming here to Vermont. We are the earth, and nature wants to talk to you. Whether you engage with a museum installation, or you jump in a performance, or you simply stand in awe, the power of connection lies within all of us.